Just a reminder, these are all my opinions and are of course subject to change. This is all subjective after all. Discussion is always welcome, just don't be a butthead. If you clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you too were curious about a Jennifer Lopez movie in 2024, directed by the guy who made Rampage, San Andreas, and Cats vs. Dogs Revenge of Kitty Galore? Oh. With a cast including Mark Strong, Sterling K. Brown, and even Simu Liu, I had some high hopes. But these people aren't necessarily the problem with this movie.
You're a problem. You're a real problem.
Jennifer Lopez is a very interesting and different individual, if I do say so myself. Whether it's her phenomenal acting...
I don't know if you know, but this film was supposed to be my big break. It's turned out to be a big disaster.
Her down-to-earth and relatable personality.
It could be, I grew up, I'm Puerto Rican, so I like rice and beans. Are you Puerto Rican? And yes, I am.
Or her super specific and very special bodega order.
Ham and cheese on a roll with an orange drink, if you know, you know, and a small bag of chips.
J-Lo definitely thought she was doing something special with this movie, so strap in and prepare to tumble your way through the CGI-filled ride that is Atlas. I feel like every Netflix movie feels like a fan film that was given a really big budget, and that's pretty much how Atlas felt while watching it. It feels like the writers and directors were a big fan of another property and just changed it into whatever this is. The movie opens with some backstory and narration during the credits. We learn that an AI terrorist named Harlan has somehow broken his programming and has caused an AI bot revolution. Through all of this, the world band together to create the ICN, better known as the International Coalition of Nations. NATO always vanishes during these movies, like the world has never attempted to unite every country under one banner before. Knowing his defeat was close, Harlan left Earth for a different planet, but not before leaving a cryptic message that one day he would return. We time skip 28 years later and the ICN is conducting a raid to grab a top lieutenant left behind on Earth named Casca. The ICN ends up capturing him, but not before making me question how this organization was winning the war. These guys are up against one AI bot and they can't even stop it. So how did they push an entire army to the brink of defeat?
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Fuck.
After the ICN takes him in, we are introduced to Atlas, our main character. She wakes up and while getting coffee, playing chess, and watching the news, because the movie needs you to know that she's smart, but also a little messy, because that's relatable. While watching 9 different broadcasts, which, like, one of these is modern day basketball. You mean to tell me we figured out space travel and AI, but we still play the same boring version of basketball?
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Atlas learns that the ICN captured Casca and marches down there because she's upset that she wasn't informed about the raid. At the same time, General Booth is briefing Colonel Banks on why he's bringing Atlas in. Turns out she's known for being problematic, difficult, and a pain in the ass. But she's super smart and is the only person who can figure out how to get Casca to tell them where Harlan went. She interrogates Casca and is able to trick him into revealing where Harlan went. So General Booth and Colonel Banks put together a mission to go to the planet Harlan escaped to and bring him back so the ICN can examine his CPU. What's funny about this is it starts with both Booth and Banks not wanting to take Atlas because she failed her Ranger test 5 times, and also she's just an analyst, and also she's a pain in the ass.
Jennifer Lopez.
Who's Jennifer Lopez?
Me.
So Banks shows Atlas that they're using this technology called neurolinking so they can become one with their ARC suit, and that Harlan doesn't stand a chance because Banks is the best. Man, I swear, this movie reminds me of something else. But for some reason, after she berates Banks for using this technology because it's super dangerous to let an AI inside your brain, he changes his mind about letting her come. For no reason other than the plot needs Atlas to be on the mission, both Booth and Banks are like, no, it's cool if you come actually, don't worry about it. This is just one of many things with the plot and how it's written that makes this movie hard to watch. In the span of 5 minutes, you have characters feeling very strongly about not letting Atlas join the mission, and then with nothing happening that would change their mind, they decide to just be okay with it.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
So Atlas, Banks, and our soon-to-be cannon fodder Ranger Squad take to space and travel to this distant planet. I think it's so funny that the plan these super smart ICN people came up with was fly to an unknown planet where the oxygen is toxic, drop on the planet with zero mapping of the terrain or a threat assessment, and then take this AI terrorist with no issues.
Not a great plan.
Harlan almost took over all of Earth and has had 28 years on this planet to plan. Yeah, this will go super well. The ship ends up getting shot down by rockets, and Atlas is shoved into an arc suit so we can see all the Rangers getting their booties kicked while she falls from the sky. Now, a big part of this movie is how these arc suits require the Ranger inside to link with the AI in the suit. But Atlas is not a fan of AI. The next very long portion of the movie becomes her in a cockpit either tumbling around or talking to the AI so the movie can continue to tell us everything we need to know about our main character's backstory, which is dragged on and on and on. The AI named Smith inside the suit gives us a rundown of all the weapons and capabilities the arc suit can do, which includes a one-time use ion bomb. Atlas comes across the Ranger's drop point and they're all dead as a group of AI bots search their bodies. Turns out one of these AI bots is Casca, which causes Atlas to trip backwards, alerting them all to her presence. Since Atlas refuses to listen to Smith, she ends up detonating the ion bomb, which then causes a sinkhole. Thankfully, this forces her to sync with Smith, and then we get more flashbacks and Atlas telling us more about her. Like, I'm not kidding, probably 70% of this movie's script is Jennifer Lopez just telling us about her character. I'm not a big fan of when movies rely on the telling portion of a character instead of showing us anything that makes this character who they are. We don't get to see Atlas be anything more than annoying and unlikable, and if that's what the movie was going for, weird choice. Actually, Atlas as a movie feels like it was written by AI. So she bonds with Smith and he patches her up so they can continue their mission and reach the escape pod that will get them off the planet. They get out of the sinkhole and set a trap for Casca, and after blowing him to pieces, Atlas gets the location of Harlan's HQ. Of course, this wouldn't be a Jennifer Lopez movie if she didn't have at least one cringy scene. In this movie, it's when she discovers a new plant species and names it Planty. Get it? Because she's quirky and relatable. She doesn't know what to name a flower, so she just names it Planty because that's funny and relatable.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
Want to know what's funny about all this? Everything we've covered so far is just the first hour of this movie. This thing is 2 hours long, and most of it is just Atlas talking to the AI in the suit, but it's so boring and does very little to give us any information about these characters or even some world building that it brings the whole movie down. Eventually, Atlas wanders her way into Harlan's full-blown factory that he somehow made. I love how this AI went to a planet that is known for lightning tornadoes and a toxic environment with no signs of life, yet he was able to scavenge everything he needed to build an entire factory? This movie isn't even trying to make sense. So honestly, I don't know why I'm trying to make sense of it. So Atlas just walks right into the factory and immediately gets caught and tied up so the movie can finally tell us what we pretty much already know. Turns out Atlas is responsible for Harlan breaking his code and causing the AI uprising. Atlas's mom was working on new AI technology, but because she was spending all her time with Harlan, it made Atlas get jealous and upset. So her brilliant plan was to have Harlan sync with her without the safeguards on, so Atlas could be more like Harlan and get more love from her mom. Harlan decides to kill the mom and then the world because he believes the only way to save humanity is to wipe them out. This movie doesn't have a single speck of originality in it. I swear, all of this feels so much like something else. Anyways, after Harlan gets the information from Atlas, he just leaves her there next to Banks so they can just run out of oxygen. Turns out Banks still has his sync headset, and Atlas is able to activate Smith and use the suit to break out. So a super smart AI that was able to create an entire army from nothing just left his prisoners up to fate? He also just decided not to check and see if either of them had anything that would let them escape? Stupid. Okay, so Harlan's big plan is to fly the ship that the Rangers came on back to Earth and detonate a hydrogen bomb to destroy the atmosphere and cause humanity to start over. So Atlas and Banks go on a rampage through the factory to stop the ship from taking off. During this fight, Banks explodes, Atlas gets some upgrades for her suit, and the ship is shot out of the sky. We get the final standoff between Atlas and Harlan, and in the end, Smith sacrifices himself so Atlas can live and get back to Earth with the CPU intact. So Harlan dies and Atlas returns a hero, thank God, movie over. I promise, this movie reminded me so much of something else. I just can't quite remember what it was. Titanfall. This movie is a ripoff of Titanfall. I don't care if the director said it has nothing to do with the famous video game franchise, but this movie is straight up Titanfall 2. I mean, in Titanfall, they're called pilots. In this, they're Rangers. The Titan speaks to you and is an AI that helps you fight and stay alive. The ARC suits are exactly that.
I was trying to warn you that detonating an ion bomb could cause a sinkhole.
Got you.
The ARC suit says their main protocol is to keep their Rangers safe. In Titanfall, they have 3 protocols, and one of them is to keep the pilot safe. I mean, for fuck's sake, the ending where Smith sacrifices himself, that is literally how Titanfall 2 ends. Look, maybe they didn't know that's what they were doing with this movie, but it's too on the nose for me. I don't understand who's greenlighting these movies. Jennifer Lopez is certainly attempting what the Oxford Dictionary definition of acting is, but when as a society did we decide she was good at it? I don't even know how else to critique this movie, because all I can think about is how I want to go play Titanfall. Please, Netflix, make better movies, because Atlas is going in just plain garbage. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to check out my video on the movie Power Rangers. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you'd like to see me cover in the future.